Parachute 2014, I am Bjorn and joined on the couch by the boys from Saving Grace.
Howdy.
Howdy. I was waiting. I thought delayed response. The audience is like 100 meters away, so it takes.
Yeah, it's a huge place.
Yeah, it takes a while to get there.
Echo.
So how many? You guys are back at Parachute again. How many times do you reckon you've played at Parachute?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
Hundreds of times. Hundreds of years worth.
Maybe?
Maybe thousands.
Okay. Best memory of any gig you've played? I know you've played there a lot. What's your best memory? Anything that stands out?
Probably mixed between the last time we played the Apollo stage.
Yeah.
And last year when we played the main stage.
Yeah, good contrast.
Both madness.
Yeah, I like every year that we play how like Parachute needs to call in 4 extra St. John's ambulances.
Yeah.
That's always a good buzz.
Okay, well, just bringing that up though, I was watching from the side. I wasn't like too involved in the circle because I was a little bit afraid. But I saw, you've got the like culture of everyone swinging their fists around and like fighting no one, just kind of the air, right? And from an outside perspective, it looks pretty like
hilarious.
Yeah, but very aggressive at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And so there's all these people kicking, fighting, side kicks coming out, like all this going on. And then I saw this other guy watching from the side, just trying to figure out what the heck was happening. Looked obviously like he didn't quite fit in with everyone.
Bewildered.
But he was a pretty aggressive dude, and he was like, this is awesome. I just get to smash people and have fun. So when everyone's circling around, he would just run in. He was shouldering people down, really violent, like smashing people over. And people were like, what is this guy up to? And then this other guy comes running in and tackles him out of the group, and then picks him up and starts like screaming at him. And then he puts his arm around him, starts talking to him, explains out the whole thing, and the guy's like, oh yeah, starts to, and then they go back in again, and he's not aggressive this time, he's just doing his own thing.
Well, that's what's the fascinating thing with doing stuff that's slightly outside of the hardcore scene, because if you go to a hardcore show, everyone does that, but it's like a whole, like if someone goes down, there'll be 3 people to pick them up kind of thing, and there's this big kind of mutual respect. And when you do stuff that's slightly outside of, the scene that we are a part of, you get that kind of outside look, and it's like, these guys are invisible, they're fighting invisible ninjas, what's going on? And then it's perceived as like a violent, aggressive thing, but it's just a release of energy. It's like, it's not a style of music you can like body pop to, but it's like, that's what it's, that's our equivalent to that,
Yeah, totally. So touching on that, you said that kind of community that goes with the hardcore scene, from someone who's maybe not in it, but they're like at the show watching, it looks quite, I'd say, and it could be quite intimidating. Some people, I know you, I feel very under-tattooed right now.
We were all there, I started going to hardcore shows when I was 15, 16. I was a new metal kid and just learned from a skate shop that there were these heavy shows, and I'd rock up with my Slipknot and Slowfire shirts and big nose, big septum rings, and same thing, I'd just be like, oh my God, this is crazy, like what's going on? These guys are just like, killing each other. But then once I learned about the music and found out about like, what they were singing about, like straight edge and this and that, and learn about animal rights and vegetarian veganism through the bands that were playing, it just completely changed my whole perception of that community and all the friendships and nice people I met, it was great.
That's good. Okay, I want to bring up hashtag the urgency, hashtag great success. What is it? Wednesday you released this album.
Yeah, it came out on Wednesday. Yep, so it came out in New Zealand actually on Tuesday, but because we had the same release date globally this time, America was on our Wednesday, so officially it came out worldwide on Wednesday.
Yeah, okay, so I've got the album here, Saving Grace, The Urgency. What's with the guy breathing fire coming out the front? Is this a real photo, or is this a slight Photoshop?
No, he's absolutely breathing real fire. Yeah, it's real fire. It's a real photo. It was actually taken on an iPhone.
Okay,
No, it's done by an artist called Colin Marks. He's based out of the UK. He's done incredible artwork for a bunch of really huge bands like All Shall Perish, Oceano, and Exodus and stuff. So we sent him the brief. That was actually a vision that the Lord gave me about how the artwork was to look, and it actually took a long time to sink in and to find out exactly what it was going to represent and how it would tie into the whole theme of what the record is about. But he portrayed it perfectly, and everything turned out beautifully, and everyone's loving it. So
yeah, totally. Well, they are though. I'm sure you guys are excited. It debuted at number 3 on the whole like New Zealand charts, album charts.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we're stoked. I mean, it's a first for a band like us. It's like a first for a New Zealand hardcore band, and we can't believe it. To be sitting under Lord and Sole Mio is pretty mental after only 3 days of the record being out.
Yeah.
It's unreal. So yeah, we're stoked. I mean, the hashtag the urgency. Like we had a secret viral campaign that our media manager at our management company who are based in America. They basically executed this viral campaign via the internet, and it like took off. Within 24 hours, the hashtag had been shared over 10,000 times.
Wow.
And basically they had some of the biggest bands in the world sharing it, and everyone was like, what is the urgency? So there was a countdown for about 10 days where it was going to be revealed, and when it did, it just really took off and it really helped push the album, so we're stoked with how well it's gone.
Okay, well, speaking of the album, what are you trying to get across with this album? Like, what is it about? What does it mean to you?
Do you want to take this one then?
It's about the fact that we're all going to die underneath.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily address that directly, but it is motivated and driven by our impending mortality.
Yeah.
And that we've only got a limited time. We don't know how limited that time is. So it's about living well. It's about sharing the truth that we know. It's about sharing the gospel, and I suppose not letting the trivial things of life get in the way of those sorts of things. And the urgency was actually the original title for an album that we put out a few years ago called Unbreakable.
Yeah.
It was the original title for that, but it didn't suit. So we dug it back up. But it kind of came back into play when Vasily and I were in Auckland, and we were playing a show in Auckland in September of 2012. And we were driving down the main road, and we saw a man on the sidewalk. We'd stopped at the lights, and we saw a man on the sidewalk cutting his wrists with some broken glass.
In the middle of the public?
Yeah. There was a huge crowd.
Queen Street.
Yeah, huge crowd around him, and he was just slashing his wrists. And there was this guy filming it on his phone, and everyone was kind of just watching. And I didn't know what to do, you know. I was sort of like a bit panicked, and then some guy like stopped him, and we carried on down the road and parked and walked back up because we had to go somewhere past there anyway. But we walked past, and the paramedics were there, and the cops were there and stuff, and there was this pool of blood on the pavement, like that wide, and it was just really thick. Just, I don't know, the image is seared in my mind, you know. So it was like I saw that, and it just brought so many things to the forefront of my thinking that I'd pushed away.
Yeah.
In regards to death, and in regards to mortality, and in regards to human contact and relationships, and you know, I think about the fact that, you know, Auckland is the most densely populated area of the country, and that man had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And that was the only way he could get any attention, was to slash himself open in the middle of the public, you know. And so it really made me think about, we've got these treasures, and these treasures are truth and love.
Yeah.
And we squander them. We truly do. We're all guilty of it, you know. Like, you hear about in the paper that woman who was beaten in her neighborhood. 15 of her neighbors came outside and watched.
Yeah, no one does anything.
And no one does anything, and that just makes me sick and so sad, you know. So it's like I say, it doesn't necessarily address it directly, but that's the underlying thing. It's about the fact that we are all destined to die. What are we going to do with our time? So
the clock is ticking.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's only been out for a few days now, so it's kind of hard to ask this question, I guess. But I mean, what kind of response? I mean, obviously we're seeing, people are wanting it. But have you talked to anyone about the response from the songs and what they're about?
A lot of the reviews I've been reading online have been really good. And regardless of whether or not they're good or not, a lot of the reviews are picking up on a lot of deliberate things that we have attempted to do with the album. So much like Nick was talking about, and a lot of our delivery of that. You know, we've got a lot of fast songs, a lot of frantic songs. Nick's completely changed his vocal style and delivery to suit the message of the album. And a lot of these reviewers are actually picking up on it. The fact that they are, and the fact that they're picking up on it on a positive light, that means the world to us, because that's, you know, the very essence of what we're doing, and it's being recognized, and you can't ask for any more than that. You know, it's
awesome.
great.
So
we've been really stoked with what we've been reading, and the fact that our message is clear, and that people can pick up on it without it being too, you know, obvious.
It's been really cool just to see how, I guess, the fact that we haven't compromised on anything that we are about or anything that we do musically. Like with every record, we've always said we're going to be heavier, we're going to be uglier, we're going to be nastier every album. We've never put clean singing into our records, we've never done anything cheesy or commercial. And the fact that we've done that this time around and made such a heavy record and it's been such a success after only a week is quite mind-blowing. And the press has been amazing, you know, like Ross was saying, the reviewers are picking up, you know, and they're recognising the things that we've worked so hard to achieve. And so far, I think the worst review I've seen has been a 4 out of 5, so we're pretty blown away.
And all of our,
that was pretty good.
You know, we're all 10 years older than most of the bands doing nowadays, and all of our influences are from a completely different decade. So the fact that we have our sound, we've stuck to it, and we haven't really buckled for any trends or current sounds, and the fact that people are positive and they're not just saying, oh, you know, they're playing the wrong stuff, it just means the world to us. You know, that's what we like, that's our influences, we wear it on our sleeves, and it's not the coolest sound in the world, but the fact that we're getting such positive reviews and responses it means so much. It's great.
Awesome. So you guys are playing tonight. What can people expect, like, from the show? What are you intending to put out there? Is this the first show since the album's been released?
No, the third.
Third.
So
okay, working hard already, right?
Yeah. What can people expect? They can expect circle pits.
Yeah.
Expect a whole bunch of unsynchronized white boys on stage trying to move and look cool when they're not. They can expect me looking quite bald. Pylons. They can expect to hear songs from every record.
Some 1999 new metal moves.
Some new metal moves, What else?
I'll go moshing.
No, it's going to be good. We're looking forward to it. We love playing Parachute and lots of energy. Obviously, we feed off the crowd. We love it when people get in our face, grab the microphone and jump all over each other. We love it.
Bit of a crazy show.
Yeah, we hate the barrier, so we're trying to see that barrier smashed down.
We mentioned it last night, and we try and make a mention of it. We're a hardcore band, and you know, in a situation, especially in like this, there's not too many hardcore bands, or there's not too many kids that would know of that scene in that world outside of what they know here. So what we try and do is, you know, we play other shows outside of what you may be accustomed to, but we've got the same message that we do there that we do over here. And there is an entire music scene out there that's accepting and has some positive and some amazing things that you can learn about, like being drug and alcohol free and animal rights, vegetarianism, veganism, things that you will agree to and you'll get some sense of positivity out of. You know, that's, you know, we see kids sometimes and they're like, I saw you last year. It's like, yeah, but we've played Auckland 8-9 times since then. There's this music. It's not a Christian music scene, but it's a music scene. There's positivity that you can find from it. You know, as we try and get people to be aware of that, and the fact that, you know, there's stuff outside of this comfort zone you might have here. And I get it. I totally get it. It's a great thing. But you know, step outside of what you might be comfortable with, because you'll learn some amazing things in the process.
So speaking of that, what do you got plans for tours this year? I've seen you're on the lineup for. Is it Westfest in Auckland? What have you got planned for 2014 for Saving Grace?
So we're just starting our album release tour in New Zealand right now. So obviously we're first few days of that right now. We're taking our good friends For All Eternity from Sydney with us. So we're doing this tour, and then we're going to have a couple of weeks off, and then we're doing Westfest at Victor Arena. And that's going to be our biggest New Zealand show yet. You know, it's the biggest venue in New Zealand.
It's a huge platform.
Get to play with Korn. That's going to be mental. Then a couple of weeks after that, we fly back to the United States for our 4th American tour. So we're going back to do about 20 shows and Face Down Fest, which is a festival that our record label puts on every year. It's always a good time. And then we come home, a couple of weeks off, and back to Australia. We're headlining Easter Fest in Queensland, and then going to shoot a couple of videos and then do a full New Zealand tour with 8 Foot Sativa, so that's going to be good fun too.
Far out, so a lot on the plate. Okay, just to lighten things up, just some quick stupid questions.
Okay.
Have you ever seen online the people tell you to get a padlock and chuck them in ears of people like you? Has anyone ever tried to do that to you?
No. One time when they were a little bit smaller, I was in line at a takeaway shop, and I felt a guy behind me putting his finger through my ear, and I got all like, I turned around and he was like this 7-foot huge dude, and
his finger didn't fit right.
I was like, hi, my name's Ross, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Go ahead, you want to touch it?
I haven't had it happen yet, but I'm always on edge.
Okay, and just with all the tattoos, I've never had one, I don't have any. I feel severely underdressed. What is the most painful place to get a tattoo? Out of all the ones you guys have got, That shin one looks...
No, that's easy.
Shins are
No,
fine.
fine. I
easy.
thought on the bone it might be like super painful.
On the head,
Yeah.
head?
Yeah.
You have head tattoos?
both sides.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it.
How often do you shave it and sort of
Usually, like all the time. I should have shaved on Thursday.
just
but
lazy at the moment? Yeah. Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, my head, the back behind my ears, my chest was really bad.
Maybe your sternum type stuff?
Yeah, there's not much there. It's just,
Yeah.
it was bad though. It sucked.
My stomach was the worst. I hated getting my stomach tattooed. I wanted to vomit, pass out, and kill myself all at once, but I did it.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm never doing it again.
Made it through.
I nearly tapped out of that one.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad.
I've only got the painful places left now, and I don't have the fortitude that I used to have, so it's an ordeal.
You can't really tap out of a tattoo though.
I know,
You're
right?
halfway through. You're like, I think we'll stop there. It's sort of looks like something. I don't know.
I started my chest piece, and he started there, and he got to there, and I wanted to stop, and it's from here to here. So.
Yeah, as
it's
soon
not
as I
even
started
finished.
my head, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, I had to take like 4 or 5 Panadol and just suffered.
Everyone's different. You know, some people say, "Oh, tattoos don't hurt," but they all hurt. Like they just
Well,
don't
it's a
hurt.
needle in your skin. I mean, that doesn't sound very pleasant.
Varying degrees of hurt. Like I've got both of my feet done. I've got the inside of my lip done, and I actually enjoyed both of those tattoos. But other people who have those parts of their body tattooed hate it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
My fingers were also really bad.
Yeah.
That was so quick. But it was.
Lasering hurts more.
What, removal?
Yeah. So if you're gonna get something, make sure you really want
Don't
it.
get the wrong thing.
Otherwise, you do that.
What? So have you covered something up under there?
Yeah, I had a lot of bad tattoos.
Yeah.
And,
And now you got a blue leg.
Yeah, so if anyone's like, oh, bro, I've got an apprenticeship, let me do it. Nah, just pass.
Yeah, don't get cheap tattoos, right?
I'll wait a few years, bro. You
Cheap
get good.
tattoos aren't good, and good tattoos aren't cheap.
Yeah, right. That's a good one. Okay, well, with that, we'll leave it. You guys having a massive year. The album, The Urgency, out now, Saving Grace. Give it up.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That's good.